Now to an alleged toilet paper prank taking a tragic turn in Georgia. A popular high school math teacher and married father of two is dead, and one teen is facing multiple charges, including first-degree vehicular homicide. Here's ABC's Faith Abube.
Tonight, a Georgia community is rallying around the grieving wife and children of a beloved teacher who died in what investigators describe as a high school prank gone tragically wrong.
It's just a tragic accident all the way around.
According to the Hall County Sheriff's Office, 40-year-old Jason Hughes was killed just outside his home Friday night when a group of teenagers came to roll toilet paper on trees on his property. They say Hughes came outside, and as the 18-year-old tried to flee, the teacher tripped and fell. One of the vehicles ran him over. Investigators say Jaden Wallace, the accused driver, and his friends tried to render aid, but the teacher later died at the hospital. All 5 suspects seen here in booking photos have been criminally charged. In a statement to ABC News, Hall County Schools writing, "Our hearts are broken," adding that Hughes was a passionate teacher, mentor, and coach who was loved and respected by students and colleagues.
And Lindsay, a message on a GoFundMe for the family underscores how indescribably difficult that this death is for the wife and the kids. It also underscores that the 40-year-old served his community and was a blessing to so many people. Lindsay.
Just a tragic story there, Faith. Thank you.
Jason Hughes was a math teacher and a golf coach here at North Hall High School. People have been leaving behind flowers to remember him and also to honor his legacy. Bouquets of flowers piling up to remember 40-year-old Jason Hughes, a husband, father, teacher, coach, and mentor for students here in Hall County. Olivia Williams, a sophomore at North Hall High School, stopped by on Saturday night to show her support.
Whenever somebody would need help or something, he would always make great conversation. He always had the best smile on his face, and he just seemed like such a friendly guy.
According to the Hall County Sheriff's Office, a group of 5 teens, including 18-year-old Jaden Ryan Wallace, went to the house to toilet paper a home, a common prank. Deputies say when the 40-year-old man, Jason Hughes, came out of the house, the teens ran into 2 different cars to get away. Deputies say Hughes, while walking toward the street, tripped and fell into the road. Then the Sheriff's Office says he was hit by Wallace's car. The Sheriff's Office says all the teens tried to help, but Hughes was taken to the hospital and died. His death sending shock through the North Hall High School community.
This can't be real. Like this, there's no way this happened. I just saw him this week, and I mean, I went to take a test and I borrowed a Chromebook from his room. There's no way this is happening.
Hughes' wife is Olivia's geometry teacher.
She's the sweetest lady ever, and they had just such a good connection, and you could just see it.
Hall County Schools released a statement saying in part, quote, "Our hearts are broken. Jason Hughes was a loving husband, a devoted father, a passionate teacher, mentor, and coach who was loved and respected by students and colleagues." 18-year-old Jaden Ryan Wallace is facing a charge of vehicular homicide. The other teens facing misdemeanor charges. Williams says the junior-senior pranks are for fun, but this time she says it got out of hand.
It's just supposed to be something fun, but sometimes I feel like it can get out of proportion and it can get a little too wild. Life is so precious, so you never ever should take it for granted. So just go hug your love.
What's up, everybody? All right, you guys. So the family has spoken in the case of Jason Hughes. So Jason is a beloved Georgia teacher that sadly lost his life after a prank. So Jason's wife, Laura, told the New York Times that she wants all the charges dropped against all of the teens. So from what Laura is saying, this entire thing was an accident. The teens did not mean to run over Jason. And she says that her husband was not angrily chasing the teens off or trying to get the teens out of his yard. Jason was just joining in on the prank, but he accidentally fell, and that's what caused him to get run over. Now, as we know, the teens did stay. They tried to help him until first responders came. And the wife is just saying that her husband would not want these kids to get charges pressed against them. Now, this is not the first time that the Hughes home was targeted in this student wars prank. In 2023, there's a picture of Jason's home, and it has toilet paper all over it. 18-year-old Jaden Wallace was charged with vehicular homicide in this case. And also, there are 4 other teens facing lesser charges like criminal trespassing. Now, I'm very curious as to your opinions on this case. We know that all the teens were 18 years old. And y'all, from what the wife is saying, this was a total accident. The husband tripped and fell in the road, and that's what caused him to be run over by that car. So students at the school where Jason taught say he was more than a teacher. Some students could talk to him even after they graduated. They would call him and ask him for advice. And this man just really loved his job. He loved his family, and he was an overall good person. Now, y'all, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think these kids should still face charges? And my heart goes out to the family of Jason Hughes.
So a prank gone wrong in Georgia leaves 5 teens with charges. Very devastating. So on Thursday night in Gainesville, Georgia, 5 students decided they were going to TP their math teacher's home. And while they were out there toilet papering the home, he saw them outside and he was like, oh, I got y'all red-handed. So he ran outside. And in the midst of him running outside, they knew they were caught. So they were trying to leave the situation. And unfortunately, he ended up tripping and falling into the road as the driver of the vehicle, 18-year-old Jaden Wallace, accidentally ended up running him over. He immediately stopped. Him and 2 other students actually ended up staying and providing aid until the paramedics actually got there. And when they actually arrived, they ended up taking him to the hospital, and unfortunately he did succumb to his injuries the next day. Now they did go ahead and charge him with first-degree vehicular homicide, reckless driving, criminal trespass, and loitering on private property. Elijah, Aiden, Anna, and Ariana, all 18 years old who were all in on the prank, were all charged with criminal trespassing and loitering. Now besides being a math teacher, Jason was also a golf coach. He was married to his wife Laura, and they had 2 children together. Now his wife Laura is very sad about the fact that of course her husband has passed on, but that his students are actually being charged for something that they all believe was an unfortunate accident. Their intentions of course were not to go to the home to harm him. They were only doing a prank, and for anybody to go take the time to toilet paper somebody's home is definitely a sign of endearment, that you actually love and care about them, especially from a school environment. It is something that is always kind of been a tradition for most people, is that they will TP somebody's house, and it was a right of honor if they actually did so. So his wife is very devastated that they are all facing charges at this time. My heart goes out to everybody involved, because I'm sure the hearts were all in the right place, and unfortunately his life did end over a tragic accident that really seems like it was nothing but really just an accident.
Oh my God, you're not gonna believe this. A prank gone wrong. A toilet paper prank. Like when we were kids. This teacher in Georgia came out of his house because the kids were pranking him with toilet paper around his trees. And folks, I remember when we were growing up, we did the same thing. Putting toilet paper on people's cars, wrapping their cars up, wrapping their trees up, wrapping their houses with toilet paper. And these kids were doing this to a teacher in Georgia. He came out of the house and caught them. When they went to run away and get in their cars, folks, this is horrible. He tripped and fell, and they ran him over. He tripped accidentally and fell, and they accidentally ran him over. They stopped, they rendered aid and tried to help him, but he passed away. A toilet paper prank ended this man's life. Horrible, folks. Horrible, horrible accident. Praying for this teacher, his family, and praying for the kids. The kids were just doing a prank. They didn't want this to happen. Horrible situation.
Okay, so 40-year-old Jason Hughes was a math teacher at North Hall High School. On March 6, the district warned juniors and seniors not to target teachers' homes because in the past, there have been property damage and violence in the past doing this. So when targeting teachers' homes were 2 points, and if the teacher caught you, you would lose those 2 points. So 5 students go to the 4400 block of Northgate Drive in Gainesville, Georgia, is where Jason, the math teacher, lives. And then they start throwing toilet paper all over his trees. So when Jason was running out of his house to catch these 5 teenagers, the teenagers got into 2 separate cars. Because it had been raining that day, Jason slipped and fell into the road. And at the same time, Jaden Wallace was in his pickup and he hits Jason trying to get away. So around 11:30 p.m., when Jason was struck by Jaden, the 5 teenagers tried their best to keep Jason alive while the authorities got there. So Hall County Fire Rescue transported Jason to the Northeast Georgia Medical Center, where he died from his injuries. Elijah Owen, Aiden Hucks, Anna Luque, and Ariana Cruz, all 18 years old, were arrested in front of Jason's home and charged with criminal trespassing and loitering. And all 5 were released on bond Saturday morning. Jaden Wallace was charged with first-degree vehicular homicide, reckless driving, criminal trespassing, and loitering on private property. Jaden faces 3 to 15 years behind bars. He is being held on $1,950 bond. He is booked at the Hall County Jail. He was released on that bond. So the wife comes out and she says that she wants the charges dropped. And she didn't want the teens to be charged. She said her husband wasn't angry, but he was eagerly anticipating and catching these students toilet paper in his house because he never caught them before. So I think that since the school district came out and told them not to do this, and they were warned, they should get every punishment there is. I understand it was an accident, but you were warned not to do this. And you should at least get 3 years, at least, not the whole 15, because I don't believe you tried to run this teacher over on purpose. And whatever the other people get, they need to get too. And this should be on their record. And I know that the wife worked alongside her husband at this high school, and she knows the kids and things like that. And she doesn't want to ruin their life, but they ruined their own lives because they were warned not to do this. But hell, what do I know? I'm just a talking head.
Some students went to pull a prank on a teacher's home, but they tragically killed him last night. This is so tragic and horrifying. This took place in Georgia. A Gainesville teenager is facing charges after authorities said a North Hall high school teacher and coach was run over and killed. This was on last night, Friday, March 6th. This is 18-year-old Jaden Wallace, pictured here on the right, and he is reportedly charged with first-degree vehicular homicide and reckless driving, and that's in connection to the death of the teacher and coach named Jason Hughes. He was only 40 years old. According to reports, deputies were called at around 11:40 p.m. last night regarding reports of a man being struck by a vehicle. It ended up being Jason. Hall County Fire Rescue immediately transported him to a local hospital, but unfortunately he later died there. Police said that the teen Jaden and 4 others had gone to the home that Jason was at. I'm assuming it was his home. They toilet papered his home, which, as you know, is when you throw toilet paper rolls into the trees and on homes and whatnot on property. And it's normally just a harmless prank until it's not. It can be dangerous. It was said while the teens were doing the prank, Jason came out of the home to see what was going on, and the group then got into 2 vehicles to leave the area. As Jaden, the teen, began to drive his truck on Northgate Drive, Jason reportedly tripped over something and fell into the roadway, and he was unfortunately run over by the truck Jaden was driving. Police said that Jaden and the others that were with him did indeed try to stop and provide help to Jason while emergency crews were on the way. Jaden was reportedly arrested at the scene. He also faces a misdemeanor charge of criminal trespass and littering on private property. According to reports, 4 others who were with Jaden were also arrested at the scene, and they are all pictured here. They are all 18 years old. This is Elijah Owens, Aiden Hicks, Anna Catherine Luke, and Ariana Cruz. They were all reportedly charged with criminal trespassing and littering. The school district has since said in a statement that Jason here was a devoted father and a loving husband. He was also a passionate teacher and mentor who was greatly respected by all of the students and his colleagues at this school. The sheriff's office said this investigation does remain very active and ongoing. This is absolutely terrible and so unfortunate. My prayers go out to all who knew and loved Jason and to that entire school community. For more truth.
A Georgia teacher reportedly died during a toilet paper prank after being run over with a vehicle by students. According to the Hall County Sheriff's Office, 40-year-old teacher Jason Hughes noticed a group of teenagers toilet papering the trees outside his home. When Hughes came outside, the teens quickly got into 2 vehicles to leave the area. As one of the student drivers started pulling away, authorities say Hughes slipped on a rain-slick road, fell into the street, and was ran over by the vehicle. Reportedly, the teams immediately stopped and attempted to render aid while emergency responders rushed to the scene. Hughes was transported to a hospital where he later died from his injuries. Police arrested 18-year-old Jaden Ryan Wallace at the scene. He's facing charges including first-degree vehicular homicide and reckless driving, along with criminal trespass and littering on private property. 4 other teens were also arrested on trespassing and littering charges. In the latest update, Hughes' wife says their family does not want the teens prosecuted. In a statement obtained by the New York Times, Laura Hughes said her husband loved the students and was actually excited to catch them in the act during the prank. She added, "This is a terrible tragedy, and our family is determined to prevent a separate tragedy from occurring, ruining the lives of these students." Authorities say the investigation into the incident is still ongoing.